Hello, everybody. This is Dashing Knight, and well, I'll be honest. This is new. I got a webcam from yard sale, and it's an older Logitech. As you can already tell, it has a microphone built in. So far, I mean, it works pretty good with my Skype calls. So I figured I'd give it a shot with a story. And I'm sure some of you have noticed the intros and outro on my last couple of vids. Well, this one and the one before that. And the one before that. It's one of my subscribers, MrManwriter. He's been kind enough to offer his services of editing and helping, spruce up my audios. Anyway, my video's audio. Yeah. Apparently I can't talk. Moving on. Dang. Totally taking way too long with this. Just a story called of Rocks and Wubs. And, as you can tell from the picture, it's a mod and vinyl scratch story. And, Dr. Kerbo brought this story to my attention. The story is by Sammy90. So far I've been told I've done a good impression of mod. And, since it's been way too long, I'm just gonna stop rambling and we're just gonna get this started. Of Rocks and Wubs by Sammy90. Maybe it was you, and maybe it was me. Vinyl Scratch wasn't a typical pony. As a matter of fact, she was as far from typical as it was possible. She was a bit eccentric, hyperactive, sometimes creepy or obnoxious. She liked to sleep all day and party all night long. Quiet, boring life, lying on a sofa, doing the dishes, working office for 8 hours a day, Monday to Friday, definitely wasn't for her. But, like the other ponies, she liked to meet new friends, talk with them, and have fun. Too bad the train didn't seem like a place where she could find a pony to talk with. It was going to be a long ride, and although she took a book with her, a cheap paperback novel with a muscular stallion wearing a shining armor on its cover, he was standing next to a horrified mare, aiming his stunningly large sword at something that looked like an enormous mass of green tentacles. Vinyl already guessed half the plot from that picture and hoped the other half would surprise her. When she reached her compartment, some pony was already sitting there. Vinyl looked at her closer. A gray mare with a violet mane was reading some papers with an indifferent expression. She didn't raise her eyes or made any other, even the slightest movement, indicating that she'd noticed Vinyl. Hello, Vinyl said. Hi, was her only answer. Her voice was devoid of any trace of emotion, but there was something about it that Vinyl liked. The DJ sat on her seat, her eyes focused on her companion. She had to admit that the mare was pretty. For some reason, Vinyl always had a soft spot for gray earth ponies, no matter mares or stallions. She wasn't picky when it came to choosing partners. They didn't have to be ponies. She remembered her short-lived romance with a griffin. Vinyl slapped herself mentally. It wasn't even 5 minutes since she'd entered the compartment, and she already thought about seducing the fellow passenger, who, judging by the look on her face, was a serious pony who had no time for chit-chatting with other ponies. Reluctantly, she turned her gaze away from the pony in front of her and focused on her books. It didn't exactly help. She guessed the half of the plot correctly, but the other half was more about tentacles and big swords than she thought it'd be, causing her imagination to do weird things. When the train left the station, she already started to picture herself as a damsel in distress, waiting for a mysterious gray warrior to save her from the elder god from the outer space. As the plot thickened, she began throwing nervous glances at the mare. Do you need something? She heard the deadpan voice. Her companion's expression was almost condescending. Or maybe Vinyl... Only imagine that. She could swear that not a single muscle moved in Kramer's face since they'd met. Yes. No. Okay. The mayor went back to her papers. Vinyl wiped the sweat from her forehead, scolding herself mentally. 15 minutes passed in awkward silence. The ticket inspector visited them. Then the train stopped on some station in the middle of the desert. When it left, Vinyl cleared her throat. I guess I should introduce myself, she said. My name's Vinyl. Maud. Her tone didn't change, even for a moment. Nice to meet you, Maud. You too, Vinyl. Vinyl wasn't sure she really meant it. However, she decided to go on. What are you reading, Maud? She asked. Sedimentary environments and correlative sequence stratigraphy of Upper Cretaceous Pelagian succession in Alamein Zebraca. Vinyl rose her eyebrows. The only thing she was sure now was that Maud's papers definitely had no tentacles in them, not to mention brave warriors in shining armors. Sounds science-y, she said. I'm a geologist. My primary field of interest are rocks. Vinyl finally felt that Maud said something she understood. She decided to stick to that topic. Rocks? Cool! I like rock too. Let me guess, your favorite genre is alternative rock. You look like a bit, alternative, hipsterish. Did I mention that I like rock too? Though I like electronic music more. Dubstep, trance, drum and bass. I'm a DJ myself and... She paused, seeing a pair of turquoise eyes piercing her from beneath half-closed eyelids. On a second thought, Maud's expression didn't change. Just the message it conveyed suddenly turned from a mild interest to a mild irritation. I guess it was a misunderstanding. The grave mare said, I meant rocks. Vinyl muttered something that sounded like apologies. You remind me of my sister. Vinyl wasn't sure if that was a good or bad. I love my sister. Good for you? Vinyl replied. Suddenly she thought about the implications. No, she thought. Most ponies don't love their relatives that way. As slapping herself mentally didn't help, she hit herself mentally with a chair. Twice for good measure. Again they spent some time in silence. Vinyl tried to read, but she reached a point when plot became predictable. Not to mention that a will of socializing, hidden somewhere deep inside Maud's psyche, decided to show up. I have a pet rock, she said. She took a small pebble from her pocket and showed it to Vinyl. His name is Boulder. Cool! Hi, Boulder! Vinyl exclaimed. She was unfazed by the fact that the pony in front of her was apparently eccentric, if not insane. As a musician, she was often meeting insane ponies. Or rather eccentric ponies. Insanity was reserved for the ordinary simpleton. Artists, nobles, VIPs, they were all eccentric. Her first manager had a habit of dragging a sweater tied to a leash everywhere, pretending it to be a dog. Her ex-mare friend kept a foal preserved in a jar full of formaldehyde, whom she called Bob. The janitor in her old flat in Manhattan was a Nightmare Moon cultist. She could easily get on with even the craziest of them. Hell, Maud wasn't even the first pony with a pet rock she knew. She heard that a fashionista who had once asked her to play during her fashion show had an affair with a giant boulder called Tom. That was particularly the reason why Vinyl stopped telling aristocrat jokes. Real life could easily overcome everything her perverted mind could come up with. He likes you. Cool! The train started to climb up a mountain. The sun was slowly setting. Want to play a game? Vinyl asked, taking a deck of cards from her saddlebags. She always had one with her in case of card emergencies. Sure. You're not very talkative, are you? No. Okay, I see. Can you play poker? Yes. Vinyl shuffled the cards. Immediately, she saw that Maud was a tough opponent. Last time she saw such a good poker face was when she accidentally eaten her ex-cult friend's mushrooms and ended up playing poker with an iron, microwave oven, and a basket of dirty laundry. She still owed 10 bits to an iron. Soon, she realized that playing poker with Maud was a mistake. Before the sunset, she lost 10 games in a row and was begging Celestia that the Earthmare didn't want any money from her. She already had to give 5 bits to Boulder, who somehow got a straight flush. She was about to propose another game when she saw her fellow passenger watching the mountainous landscape behind the window. Suddenly, Maud recited. Mountains. Mountains are just big rocks. Rock is the heart of a mountain. Sun is not a rock at all. But it's so nice when it reflects in quartz. Wow! Vinyl exclaimed. You didn't say you were a poet? It's just a hobby. Yeah, a hobby. Listen, girl, I'm a musician. I can recognize a good poem when I see one. Thanks. You're welcome. Do you write something other than blank verse? Or, not about rocks? No. I guess I'm a bit sentimental. Wait, was that a pun? So you do have a sense of humor after all. Suddenly, Maud's expression changed again without actually changing. This time her stare caused a chill to run down Vinyl's spine. Just because I don't express my feelings like you do doesn't mean I don't have a sense of humor, she said, in complete deadpan, just like she always did, but for Vinyl it sounded like scolding. I'm sorry, the DJ said quickly. I didn't mean to. Don't worry. I'm not mad at you. And cheer up. You look miserable when you're sad. Vinyl never thought she'd live to see a day when the pony whose pet rock was more emotional than her would tell her to cheer up. She smiled half-heartedly upon that thought. Much better. The train began to ride down the mountain. The moonlight was reflecting in Vinyl's sunglasses, resting on a small table next to Boulder. So, you have a sister, right? Vinyl asked. 3 sisters. Inky, Blinky, and Pinkamena, Diane. If Maud was able to chuckle, she'd probably chuckle right now. Our parents are quite creative. I have an older brother, Vinyl said. His name is Longplay. He's a DJ, too. Inky and Blinky helped my parents on a rock farm. Pinkamena, Pinky, lives in Ponyville. She's the element of laughter. Wait! Pinkie Pie is your sister? Yes. Maud stated simply. I remember her from Princess Cadence's wedding. Could you believe that I slept through all that battle with the changelings? She woke me up just before the party started. I can believe that. Yeah, I'm such a sleepyhead. You know, I'm almost nocturnal. Me too. It's easier to enjoy rocks when there are no ponies around. You aren't very social. Not really. Besides, there's a moon. She looked through the window and recited. Moon, a big rock in the sky. I love how it shines. Rocks are pretty. So is the moon. Rocks. That was so romantic. Vinyl stared at Maud in awe. She was trying desperately to still the beating of her heart, but even beating herself mentally with a baseball bat couldn't help her. Something about that weird, seemingly cold and unemotional pony fascinated her. She felt like she was a teenager again. Well, she usually felt like that, but this time it was different. She was like a filly who fell in love for the first time. You know, I should give you some lessons. Lessons in what? Vinyl asked, confounded. In hiding your feelings. Since you entered the compartment, you're staring at me, blushing like that shy friend of my sister. What? No, I'm just prone to sunburns. Vinyl, please. Was that a trace of chuckle in her voice? Vinyl's ears perked up, but when Maud spoke again, her tone was emotionless as usual. Too bad I'm not a filly fooler. Oh, don't say too bad. I'm used to that. I hopelessly fall in love in, many mares. Most of them are straight, and I often find out I was never in love with them in the first place. It was just a crush. You might be a one-time crush, too. Tomorrow morning we'll leave this train, and soon we'll forget about each other. Suddenly she felt Maud's lips joining with hers. The kiss caught her completely off guard, causing her to jump back. What was that? She shouted. One-time crush. As you said. Tomorrow we'll go, so at least have some nice memory of me. You naughty girl. Vinyl shook her head and hugged Maud. Their lips locked once again. The DJ closed her eyes. A pleasant smell of rock candies filling her nostrils. She could feel their taste on her tongue. Maud held her in a tight, firm embrace. The strength of her muscles, trained by years spent on the rock farm, made Vinyl feel safe, like a newborn foal in their mother's hooves. She felt the fabric of Maud's dress on her skin, its touch almost driving her insane. Their lips parted, but Vinyl didn't want to retreat. She sunk her face into Maud's fur and promptly fell asleep. She woke up the next morning still hugging the earth mare. Her mane was disheveled, and her eyes were bloodshot. Every bone in her body hurt. The position she was sleeping in wasn't very comfortable. She stood up, stretching her body, and put her sunglasses on. Wake up, sleepyhead, she whispered. We're almost there. Maud muttered something in her sleep, then opened her eyes. She looked at Vinyl. A faint shadow of a smile appeared on her face. The train almost arrived at the station. They collected their belongings. Maud checked if Boulder was safe in her pocket, and went to the corridor. Finally, they left the train and trotted through the station, to the crowded street of the town. See you, Maud, Vinyl said. See you, Vinyl, Maud replied. They both went in opposite directions. Wait! Vinyl shouted, spinning to see the gray mare again. Will we see each other one more time? Maud was already far away. They were separated by a crowd of ponies. There was no way she could hear Vinyl, but the teacher was sure that just before she finally lost eye contact with her, she heard her voice. As usual, unfazed by anything, saying exactly one word. Sure. Well, everybody, I liked it. Hopefully I was able to be consistent with my Maud voice. Of course, the final product, you guys won't be able to tell, but I kind of did multiple times and had to edit out whichever one sounded, better. Hopefully I made it consistent. It's just hard to hold it like that when it's not rapidly progressive. Switching in and out It's not my most used voice yet, though hopefully if you guys like it, I will plan on doing more. I have like at least one other one I really want to do because I find it hilarious. But I hope you all enjoy this, and other than that, don't really know what else to say, but bye everybody.